Chapter 4. How did I get there? The weather was, it had to be admitted, a little depressing in the dome. It felt all wrong. It was cold and damp, there wasn't any of the usual sun, and instead the roof was blackened with thick black clouds. Bilge, the head weather person, was obviously having a very bad day. Everyone else in the dome seemed to be having a miserable day too. Amazing what the weather can do to you. Anna was waking up. She had slept so soundly that it took a while for her brain to adjust and her body to function. She opened her eyes, expecting to see the window across the room, but instead something was blocking her vision. She sat up and picked up the box that was resting next to her face. The box looked old and strangely familiar to Anna. She opened the box carefully, knowing exactly what she'd find inside. The stars. They were glistening, just as brightly as before. "How did you get here?" she asked. "I didn't bring you with me." She slammed the lid shut and placed it on the bed. How had it got here? She knew she had left it on the bedside table at home. It was only a box, after all. And then she thought back to the lady who had given it to her, the way she'd disappeared as soon as she'd given Anna the box. And what about the time when she tried to show her mother and the box, and it had got stuck in her pocket and wouldn't come out? Anna then thought of the occasions when she'd opened the box and no time had passed, although she was sure it had. It was clear that this box was obviously magical in some way. She thought that she had better show it to someone. But who? The box hadn't allowed her to show it to her mother. Just then she wondered if she should show it to her magic. "Hobbs!" she shouted. "I must find Hobbs now." Just then the box began to rattle and shake on the bed. Gingerly she picked it up, holding it at arm's length, just in case it exploded. She opened the lid. There, inside, was Hobbs. I mean, not the real Hobbs, but a tiny picture of him. He appeared to be kneeling down, looking for the snoring doorway again. Amazing, thought Anna. It looks so real. How is it here, though? A minute ago there were only stars and planets and stuff. No Hobbs. She brought the box closer to her face and peered inside again. It was incredible how lifelike this picture was. She slowly brought her hand up and carefully touched the image. For a minute the Hobbs rippled as if it was made of water. She felt a pulling sensation, the ripples mesmerising her as she seemed to be dragged into the box. Images of Hobbs flew past her until all she could see was a blur. She felt as though she were flying through the air again as wind whistled around her. Suddenly, without any warning, it stopped, and all was black. And then, as if someone had turned on the lights, she saw him. No image, but the real thing. "Hobbs?" she asked, tapping the figure gently on the shoulder. "Huh?" he said, jumping about 6 feet in the air and taking half the bush with him. Oh, I didn't hear you. What are you doing here?" "I don't really know. It's all a bit strange." "What do you mean?" "Well, 3 seconds ago I was still in bed." "Oh, I see," he said, looking her up and down. Nice pyjamas, by the way. "Pardon? Oh!" she blushed, trying to cover herself up a little. "Sorry, didn't have time to change." "What do you mean?" "Well, you see, I have only just woken up, and there was this box, although it shouldn't have been the box. It was meant to be at home, and then I said that I wanted to see you, and I opened it, and there you were, and then here I was too. Understand?" Anna blurted. "Not completely, no." "Oh." Anna tried to explain about the box, and how she'd come across it, and how she had heard it calling to her. "But why would it call to you? It doesn't even have a mouth. Are you sure you weren't dreaming or sleepwalking?" "No, I wasn't dreaming, and I don't walk. The box got me here. I know it did." "Maybe it's a time travel type of thing. You know, you tell it where you want to go and it takes you." "You really think?" she asked, unsure. "Yeah, why not, hey? Why don't we try it?" "Do you think it's safe?" "Well, I don't see anything wrong with you." Well, at least nothing different from when I last saw you, I should say. Very funny. Okay then, but how do we do it? Where's the box? Anna reached into her pocket and her hands closed around the box. Here it is. All right then, what did you do next? Well, I said that I wanted to see you. Fine, okay. Where shall we tell it to go then? I don't mind. How about the restaurant you took me to yesterday? Yeah, all right then. I'm feeling a little hungry. The box started to shake again, and Anna opened the lid. She and Hobbs saw a small picture of the tiny restaurant that Hobbs had performed in the day earlier. Anna held his hand, and with her free hand, she reached into the box and touched the scene inside. The ripples spread out, and then they were pulled head first into the casket. Images of the cafe surrounded them as they seemed to fly through space, the wind pounding against their faces. Then all of a sudden, it all stopped, and everything became frighteningly clear. It worked, shouted Hobbs. That is amazing. I wonder what else it can do. I don't know. Shh, there's someone coming. So, that doesn't matter. Anna grabbed him by the collar and pulled him under a table. Shh, don't you see, it's not just anyone. Hobbs peered out around the chair leg to see who was approaching. Well, how did that happen? He whispered. I don't know. But we must have gone back in time. I certainly don't think that I have a twin, and I shouldn't have thought you do. It must be us, just at a different time. We must be travelling back in time. Where was it you told the box to go? I mean, what were your exact words? Didn't I just ask you if you wanted to go back to the restaurant you took me to yesterday? That's it, yesterday. You asked the box to bring us here yesterday, which it did. It had no idea you didn't mean to come here today, so it took us to yesterday, as that was what you said. You mean to say it's like a time machine? Anna asked. Yeah, a secret one. Anna turned the box around in her hands and opened the lid, half expecting to see images of herself and Hobbs inside, but instead there were just stars. It just looked the same as it always did. A box full of space. Should we go back now? Asked Hobbs. I don't know if I really want to be stuck in the past, even if it was just yesterday. Okay then, box. We want to go back to the snoring door in the present, please. The box shook once more, and when Anna opened the lid, she saw a small door. Is that right? She asked Hobbs. Is that the present? Well, I suppose so. I think that was the bush that I was hunting through for the snoring door. Right then. Well, here goes nothing. Hold my hand. Hobbs held her hand, and with her other hand she touched the picture, and like before, the kaleidoscope of images whooshed past them until they found themselves once more on solid ground. That was amazing, shouted Hobbs excitedly. Oh, I wonder what else it can do. I know, it's a bit scary though, don't you think? What? It's brilliant! Think of all the things we could do. I'd rather not, actually. I think I'll walk back to my brother's now. I've had a little too much instant travelling today. Besides, my insides feel as though they've just been pulled out through my nose. You're serious, aren't you? Said Hobbs, disappointed. Yes, definitely. I feel sick and I want to lie down. Hobbs stood in thought for a while, and as he turned to look at Anna, the look in her face said it all, as a mixture of revulsion and tiredness. She looked exhausted. He decided that perhaps it would be wiser for her to go home for now. Fine, all right then. I'll walk with you, he said eventually. Hobbs helped her along the road back towards Gabble Street, and with a gleam in his eye, he left her at the front door of Mac's house.